My name is Leon. I'm also known, or I think more unknown, as Room Service. I play house music, and I produce house music. I play live sets. I started playing live sets or making live sets around a year ago. During that time, with certain little hacks and dirty little tricks, I figured out a way to get ideas really fast and kind of put them in a format. I don't know if you can we have this from the top, the view from the top. You can see it now. Yes, which is basically me and my Ableton Push and an APC 40 and a laptop that I don't like to look at while I'm playing to keep it more, real. And just get out ideas really fast and have a really fluid, how'd you say, like I can really blend into stuff really easily with the little effects and stuff I have on here. I'll show that to you in a minute. So yeah, I haven't put out a record yet, which is a shame. A lot of people, kind of give me shit for that, but I'm a real perfectionist, and I think like most people, starting a track is really easy and kind of getting a loop going, and then have that idea, and you're like, yeah, this is the fucking the fucking hit. And then it comes to arranging it or kind of producing it, and then I just get stuck and I hate it and I quit and I start a new thing. And the live set really kind of helped me get away from that mentality, and this way you can just have ideas, like an idea is fine and you can just play it out. And I'm doing this talk kind of to maybe show you guys how easy it can be to actually play your shit live. I mean, I've played clubs all over Berlin with this, without, as I said, any releases or anything, just like, here's my set, and then it just kind of worked out. So you can do it too, if I can do it. So I think I'll just give you a little demonstration. Do we still have the bird's eye view? Yes. So, shaky in my voice. It's the first time I'm speaking to people, so please excuse that. This is my melodies. So the push only does melody. Like I'll trigger them in a minute, and this one only does drums, pretty much. So I use the APC for drums, and this for melodies. And I kind of play my set more like a DJ set. Like it's not a live where it's, I don't know, like epic played live pianos and everything just blends really well, but like it's more track by track and then blending them into each other. So it's more like a DJ set, I guess. With my effects section over here, hope you can see like the way I'm tweaking my little knobs here. So this is effects, and up here is filters. And if you just look a bit at my fingers, you'll know what's going on. And after that, we'll continue. So, just a minute. Yeah, this should work. So as I said, up here is just like filters, so I can filter each melody that I have in my melody thing here, filter it individually, have effects on it. Like every one of these has its own little effect rack, and then this is, I think like Honey Dijon, she uses this pioneer effect, which is basically this, what I'm doing here, like I don't even know what the name is, but it's like a delay, reverb, whatever. You can take it till infinity if you want for the drops. Yep. Thank you. Um, as really rough. I haven't played in a while, so the transitions. But I think you know what like I was kind of doing. I hope, which is just yeah, fading my ideas into each other with these neat little. It's just one effect really that I use during the whole set, and I'll show you how to do it in a bit. My plan is to kind of I'll close my finished live set now and kind of start from scratch and try to get two ideas going, like kind of against the clock key. I'll just explain what I'm doing and try to make two like house bangers, and then show you how to yeah play these live the way that anybody could do it. Um, Now I think it's time for the Ableton on the screen. If you can see the live set now, it looks like a big mess. Um, Big mess. New live set. So, blank slate. This is, I've looked at the screen many. It's 10. Maybe it's a colorway or something. But oh yeah, a good point. If you have any questions, just yell them out or like raise your hand, or if you want to know anything, um, then please help me. Yeah. Why not use the push for everything? Like the APC has like 60 knobs or something. It has the volume faders, and with the push, I would have to limit myself way more. Like with this, like I can control the clap, the hi hat, the bass, the crashes, I can have everything. And this way, I would have to like scroll around and kind of scroll through, So this way, yeah. All right. When I start, like back in the days, you would probably you open a thing and it's like, okay, I need a kick drum, and you go into your kick drums. It's like toop tuck tick toop, bump bump, and you scroll through them for like, and you're already going insane. So I don't like to do that anymore. And I got my TT drums, Tech Talk, just for today. Yeah. Yeah. Wait, is that working? You can see all the. Ah, all right. Yeah, I can work with that. So what I've got here is basically selection. You can read it on. Ah, you can't read the top. That sucks. So what I've selected, it should be like a bit more light gray now. This is an assortment of kicks. Whoa, that one's quite rough. But these are all like pre-selected in a way, so I don't have a huge library that I go to, but I know like I got, how many is this? Let's say 20 of them that I know just work for me. Like it's most like 909-ish kind of stuff. I have the same for hats here. It's now light. You've got whatever, probably 20 different 909 hats in here. Just sample browsing. Same with claps and snares. I basically went to, I hope you all know Splice, maybe the online sample database, whatever. Um, I just got up in the morning, had my coffee, went on Splice for I don't know how many hours, and just skipped through the samples like till my head was exploding. And just anytime a sample would be like, triggered me, I got it and put it into my racks, and then kind of went from there. Listen to them again, throw out the ones you don't like, just to have like a point to start the tracks from and get a drum groove going. Some people have their drum machines. They just put their 909 or their Behringer 808 clone or whatever. Um, but that kind of is always a bit limiting, at least to me. Like I want the ability to have like, yeah, those classic 909 sounds, but slightly different maybe. Like just the 909 would feel too static for me. So all these samples, same style, but like a little bit different. Um, and also, great thing is, oh, by the way, I'm gonna make like a list after this for all the plugins and Max devices and stuff. So you don't have to remember. If you're interested, I'll just have a list with all the shit. And this is Revolution by Wave Alchemy, which is basically a collection you can see here to the left. Yes, can you see the browser? Yeah. Drum kits, and they have all the, 909, 808, 606, the 707 here in the digital ones. They've got like a quote-unquote lo-fi version. It's a bit more dirty, or treated through a tape machine. And these are fucking awesome as well. So if all else fails, just get the 909 from here. And because like Roland had like a 909 emulation, like an official one, that kind of sucked, I think. And this one is like an Ableton rack. There you go. So because I only use my push at home, it's all like here, all the controls, all the shit, and the samples are just, let me get this. They just sound really good. So just a bit slow. I like it fast, by the way. I just think it sounds great. Much better, much better than like other shit out there or 909 sample packs. It's so well made, like it has length, decay, you can control every little thing about it. And it's just great quality for like $90 or something. So if you need drums, it's Waves Alchemy or Wave Alchemy. It's not Waves, but it's a different company, yeah, but it's fucking good. Yeah, I'll leave that in there because I might need it. So I have my drums now. I want to start a track. I usually start with a drum groove. I think most people do. Then one thing that really changed my game, do they say that? Like a little game changer was swing. Like for the first 5 years of producing music, I didn't know what a loop was, what a swing was, what really anything was. I was just like fucking around on Fruity Loops. But then someone's like, yeah, you got to use swing to make it house music. I was like, okay, I'll try. And on the push as well, you can dial in your swing. There's like a dedicated swing button that you can just. Can we get the top view? Do we have it? But you probably can't see the amount I'm dialing in. No. You can't see it. All right. There's some like. I think it's a bit of a mojo thing. Like I think everybody has their amount of swing, like 33, 52% or whatever. I like a high swing. I like 62% swing. So if you want to make house music or I don't even know, like techno, not a techno guy. But if you want to make house, you need swing. I'm going to demonstrate. I'm just going to start a drum groove, turn off the mic and just jam a little to try and get the first loop going, and then questions and answers after that. Maybe just a quick with the push. I can dial in my swing, so I can play the swung heads and the swung stuff live on my thing here, like just jamming out on the thing. And also I can put it in straight in this, like now it's just straight, and I can hit quantize because the swing is on. If I quantize it, it applies that swing that I'm using anyway to the, quantizes the stuff. But this sounds awful. Yeah, I haven't had didn't hear that before. That's a really basic one. Then also what I like to do is to kind of fill up, like, I mean, this would, if you would want it to have it that dry, like, you can make a house tune like this, no problem. But I found out that I like tracks more where it's a bit, I don't even know if there's a word for it. There's just like some random disco drum loop here. I'm just going to draw that one in. Really loud, to give it a bit more mojo, I guess. So, and if you didn't know, they have a control down here where you can set the transients, and usually, like, you see what happens. Like, it shortens the thing. And it's really useful because when you're treating stuff also with like compressors and whatever later, all the stuff like that's out back, it will also get like pushed up in volume. So if I want to treat it later, this way I have to, you know, it's kind of hard to explain it. And now if I, you know, it's already a bit more out there. Yeah, I could quantize it. We can have a listen, but I think that's gonna be. It makes it a bit weird most of the time. Let's see, because then it puts in the markers, as you see now, the yellow stuff. So it might be a bit. Oh, let's see. Oh, it's actually not bad. No. All right, I didn't get that at the first try now, but you tell me later, please do. But yeah, I mean, yeah, now it should fit the swing of the other drums. So, and that kick is quite nice. Now, what up next? Sometimes I do melodies, but I think I'm gonna do bass first. And for that, we have one of my favorite plugins in the world. For the one preset it has, most of you probably know, if you don't know it now, by like the DX7 emulation by Arturia. They do I don't know, they have like a complete pack of like vintage synthesizers. Quality's just, yeah, really, really great. I think Maki Hawks, he was saying that he only uses Arturia, or if he's watching him, sorry, but he likes to use them, and that, yeah, that's not a lie. So this is a lately bass. I just selected the preset, and if you it's like really iconic 90s house bass. I think everyone has used it. they have a nice vintage to modern switch, which vintage just has a noise and modern doesn't. So I want it modern. And then I'll try and play a little bass line. Kind of like the first part. I'm going to try and quantize it as well with the same. Now you see with the boomy kick and this bass line, it's a bit too much. You need sidechain, obviously. That's like, you can do it with an Ableton compressor. I think everybody knows sidechain, where the element gets out of the way of the kick through. And there's just a one knob pumper. And it pumps, like it's just 4 to the floor basically, and this way the bass will kind of move out of the way of the kick because the kick hits every straight beat, and now the bass will kind of move. See, there's much more. Really loud. This is with both, with the pumper off, where it's kind of. Let's dial it up. Yep, that's fine enough for now. Now we come to the second game changer in my life, which is chords. I never learned to play the piano at all. Like, I know how to play 2 chords, I think, I could play 2 chords on a piano. So I just use technology to play chords for me. And I'll use a stage piano. It's also Arturia stuff. Stage is like a. And now I have different ways of getting chords out of this. The easiest one is my tried and tested little. It's called Perfy because it has the perfect chords. And this is basically just 3 Ableton chord racks. If you can see all the way to the bottom left, it should show like chain selector minor. Now it's a minor 7. Now it's a minor 9. Does it show that? So basically now if I hit a note, it's going to play that chord. So if I have minor selected, it plays a minor chord. Minor chord's quite boring, I think. Minor 7, a bit nicer, a bit more soulful. I think that weird sounds from the plugin. You can make a house track out of this easy. But my favorite of them all, the minor 9, I don't know why. This is just this, yeah. This is the best chord in the world. It's fucking great. And also, of course, yeah, this is like back in the day, people would sample chords from wherever. So they would, how best describe it? Basically, what I'm doing here is I'm playing a minor 9 with everyone. Like when you talk to actual piano players or whatever, they're gonna be like, yeah, that's what the fuck is that? Like you're just playing the same chord in a different. Yeah, you're just playing the same chord all the time. Back in the day, they had samplers. They would sample chords. So obviously, they just had that one chord that they sampled over and over. So a lot of classic house is actually the same chord played over and over in different exciting ways. But with this, I can also combine like a 7 and a minor 9. I'm going to do that right now. Try to have a little piano melody over the top, and then we'll continue. Another great thing about the push, it has sensitive, so if I push really light, you get different like sounds out of it. Really great. Or pads, yeah, the pads are really nice. If you use it, by the way, like if you're using Ableton, get a push, like no questions asked. Not, it doesn't matter if it's the 2 even, they have like a nice digital display, but the push is like Ableton comes out of your PC and sits on top of your desk. It's the greatest thing I ever bought, I think, concerning the way I make music, which is in the box with Ableton, but get one. It's not sponsored. Alright, that works for now. Now I'm going to show you a little cheat code concerning pretty much it's Underground Sounds. They're like a sample company, and they make all kinds of sample packs. But they recently put out these Enhancer FX. Yeah, they enhance stuff. But it's so easy. Like I just get the Beats enhancer for the tops. So this is just my top loops here. Breathing. If I put this on, you're gonna hear, hopefully. Okay, it's a bit much. You got like a crunch, brightness, reverb. It's just all the stuff you would need for that, in this case, beats. Like all the basic controls to kind of make the sound pop more. Even if you just draw it on, it's gonna be like more out there. And for quick results, for quick, good sounding results, this is, yeah, it's sick. Yeah. Yeah. No, I found it on some website really long time ago, and then there was like 20 chords in there, and I just threw them all out, and now it's just 3 chords. But if you look at it, really, it's here. This is the actual plugin. It's an Ableton stock plugin where you select what kind of notes are to be played, and then, oops. And it's just these 3 with like a macro that goes through the, yeah. I can also upload it later if anyone's interested in this in particular. But yeah, it's really sweet. Mm-hmm. This is also, like as I said, it's by this company that does samples, and it's also just Ableton stock stuff basically. It's like huge macros, but then if you kind of get into this bad boy, there's all kinds of shit in there. You know, to make it more bright, they have probably some EQ and some whatever. And so it's really easy on the CPU as well because it's Ableton stock stuff, and for playing live, that's also a big plus to have CPU, not so CPU intensive stuff running. So like this, it's a bit flat, you know, with like if you had headphones on, this would, you know, whatever, a tiny bit of reverb, make it a bit more bright. Oops, sorry. And they of course also have this for synths and for bass. And for me, this is always like get results quick. So the bass enhancer on the bass. This is probably gonna be quite so without it. Yeah, you have it's fucking huge. They have a dedicated like sub intensity, and you can really like mold in a way. Like it gives you results quick, but you can also really get into the percentages and like, you know, get the sub bass just right and everything. Same thing. It's a synth enhancer as well. Play just the keys and you're gonna hear straight away. It's also, of course, a bit louder. But here also you have the brightness, the drive. But usually I just throw these on there and to know like, all right, it sounds good now, I can move on, I can finish this idea that I have in my head and not get stuck on sound design. And like, it's a bit too, it needs to pop more. This way it just pops out of the, for now, and that's good enough. Now the highs are really, really loud. Let's say this is kind of the first idea that we're going with. Can you see the fucking clips now on the, yeah? Great. So this would be like row 1. This could be track 1 in the live set as well. Can we get the bird's eye? We have it? Yeah. And basically what I did before with my thousands of rows of like, it's basically just this. It's like these loops that we just made, and now I'll maybe start with. There we have the. So maybe I'll start with the. Trigger them individually. This way you could, yeah, you can go for an hour and just, you know, switch out your loops and stuff, but we'll get to that as we continue. Now it's missing just one tiny more element, I think, to make it an actual playable thing. Thinking maybe just, yeah. Yeah, if we look at it from the top again, if we have it. So yeah, I mean, it's not optimized for the way I put the clips now, but you can see here, here would be my claps. It's just because that I've put this one to look, you can see these green and red rectangles in the Ableton view. You can see pretty much where the controllers are looking, and so I can control here the APC, the green one. I can say, you know, look here where the drum loops are, and with this one I'll just tell it, look over here where all the melodies and bass and stuff are, and trigger them that way. Yeah. I was thinking maybe a little vocal snippet or something. I hope I have something prepared. Elements, vocals. It's not a lot. Let's see what famous vocal is. Yeah. I'll just use that for now. And I have one unlikely effect that I like to use on the vocals. Is a Native Instruments guitar rig. They have tons of, well, I don't even know. They have hundreds of like guitar pedal effects, delays, reverbs. And they have one called Dubstar, again with the presets and the little dirty tricks. You can hear there's like a shh, you don't want that, and it just gives it like a huge. It's like really dubby, of course. That's why it's a Dubstar, and it just makes it, you know. Let's see how it sounds. So, the first one is alright. Um, it's really, like, I don't envy those against the clock um, guys in those videos. So we've got a bass, we've got keys, I've got a melody. Now usually I would probably sit on this for 26 more hours and kind of make it a whole complete different track after a few hours, but this is the beauty, as I said, of live. It's an idea, it kind of works. Um, it's deep, it's house. So I can take it and I can just move on and not be bothered by the feeling of, oh, I have to finish this track, or it has to be this hit, or it has to be like really special. I'll just play it for 3 minutes in a live and see how it works, and then that's fine, you know. So you don't need to be worried all the time about like finishing stuff. You can just finish it later, which is nice. Good for procrastinating. So stop all this for now, because now I want something like this one. Just make a second idea real quick, and show you another dirty trick of mine concerning breakbeats. Breakbeats are really in these days, I feel, and I'm a sucker for it as well. And there's a really cool technique that I learned off YouTube, because where else? Where is it? There. Oops. So this is just a bunch of a bunch of classic breakbeats. Let's just go through them one by one. It's, whoa. Yeah, we all know this one. We all know the Amen break, of course. The most famous drum loop, I think, in the world. Yeah, they're all, you know, cool loops. And we're gonna play them all at the same time. We need an instrument rack, and then a bunch of, you can just use simplers, Ableton Simpler. And I'm probably gonna need 5 of them real quick. Let's start with 4. Take the Amen break. So, any questions while I'm dragging these clips? And there's one more. I've got Hot Pants, Soul Pride, Break, okay. And you can basically tell every Ableton Simpler to slice. It's like you can have the classic note function. The rack selected. You're triggering the sample at the speed or the note that you're. But I want to slice it, and then you can. If we have the bird's eye view from up top, do we have it? No? Can we? Now, perfect. It basically turns every sample or every loop that I throw in there into a drum rack. So what we saw before, I can now, you can see here. No, you can't. Sorry, got to go back to the Ableton. We got it. It slices by transient, so I can select what style it should cut this. You usually want to keep it transient, so it looks for the individual hits in the loop. So if I this is not quite right. Trigger at the same time. Yeah, not perfect, but it's sliced up, and I'm going to do the same to all of them. I'm not going to do major corrections. Like, you could go in here and really look for the millisecond where it hits and kind of adjust. But I'm just slicing them all up by transient. Yes. And then, now comes the nice part. I've got a MIDI file from the Amen break. So, what this, we have Ableton on view, yes? Okay, cool. I have the Amen break sliced up, and it's the only one that's going to play because it's selected here. And this is the MIDI file for the Amen break, so it should recreate. You can see here, it just triggers. Yeah, you would see it just runs through and it triggers the individual hits the way that the Amen break would hit. It takes a little bit of time to get it all in that MIDI loop. So, but that's what I did. But we could also select a different one of those breakbeats. Say this one. Doesn't work quite as well, but it plays the same sequence as an Amen break would, but it's a different breakbeat. That's a bit weird. But you can hear if I combine them. Yeah, that's nice. Now, if this is going too fast, somebody stop me. You can select warp for every individual sample. And here we have the same thing that I did earlier with that disco loop of shortening the transients. So this way, if I shorten it here, you can see it goes, and then I take it as far as I want it. Right, go on the next one. You also have filter functions in here. I want to take out the bassy bits of this loop that I just put in. Warp it, take out some transients. Any questions for this? Yes, please. Ich habe es nochmal probiert, weil ich es auch gerne zeigen. I wanted to show it, to just like you can drag clips in and then convert to drums, but it just fucked it, like it worked before. It didn't work, I don't know, Ableton new version or something. But you should be able to just take, you know, if I take the Amen Brother, put it over here, it's going to ask me, oh, this is an Ableton? Yeah. So I just dragged the Amen Brother, the audio file, onto the MIDI, and then now it's asking me, like, do you want the drums or the melody? It doesn't have melody at home, so I want the drums. But you can see. Huh. Huh. Yes. What, this? Yeah. Ooh, okay. Yeah, let's see if this works. Sweet, thanks, Tom. Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is just an instrument rack, so there could be there could also be whatever, a piano here, and it would play these notes. But I put the simplers there, so the simplers play these notes. It's in no way, you don't need to connect it or anything. You're just telling the simpler play these notes in that order, and now it does, and it hits the. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Good. I can, if this did it right. Yeah. This what Tom just suggested. We've got. We just took the MIDI actually out of here, out of a simpler, you know, sliced MIDI track, and now we have this MIDI track that we were just talking about here, and I'm telling these instrument racks, please play this sequence of notes. Yep, and it's got a loop, obviously. Now the length is all fucked. Like, this is getting out of hand. I'm just going to keep the file I had. can kind of see it's a bit chaotic now. It's not like the perfect. It's hard to get it like really right, but you can see how you could go in here and kind of combine. I don't know. You could probably do 10 breakbeats if you do it right, and you get like a more like it's not just a breakbeat loop. Like you first off with like sound design perspective, it's like different drum elements. You shorten them. Some are longer, some are filtered, some are not. It can really get out of hand and sound shitty, but it can also sound really good. And also the other thing, of course, you don't want to keep that sequence in that exact order. Or you could, but you can also like just go about and do stuff like this. Let's see. Switch it up a little. I think this is what jungle people do all day is they just rearrange the aim and break and with like crazy slicing techniques and whatever. But that's not my life, unfortunately. So should I tweak around? Like I don't want to bore you guys with like the chopping these breakbeats. Huh? Chopping breaks for 15 minutes. 50 minutes left. Ah, shit. Man. I thought like I would be finished in half an hour because I'm so nervous, but now it's kind of okay. Okay, I have 50 minutes. Then let's just keep it. Need a kick drum. Fast. I want to sing with the 404, 4 to the floor, I think, not to make it too. Yep, we got a kick, we got a breakbeat loop halfway there. Also with the live set, what I showed you earlier, I can filter like everything, and I would also I definitely put a filter on here as well to be able to control like this channel and just do these famous. It just does something I think to a brain using these filtered breakbeat loops. Okay, now this is kind of going to be hard to do with one hand, so I wish I had a stand, because what we want to do now is convert this to audio clips, because you don't in a live, if you play live, you don't want MIDI clips. So what I have here is my bass from before, but this is like the DX7 with all the stuff on it, and it plays MIDI notes. And if I play my live set and there's like 10 different VSTs playing, then no laptop does that. So the way I did it with my live set is I went to my user library. You can see it's fucked, like live set 2.0, live set 2.0 without exclamation marks, 1.0 live. This is the folders. So let's make new folder, Tech Talk set. Within this, I would make a new folder and kind of whatever I would call this first track. It's like Groover. And then I would, naming things also big thing. And then drag the bass in there. So now I have the bass saved for later. Like I can always drag the same thing the way it is now out of my user library into a new project if I want to finish, as I said before, finish that track later. I have that element there to be able to tweak it and add on top or play a different melody with it. It's there, but for playing live, I need to now freeze it. Freeze, flatten, done this so many times. Freeze, flatten, and now it's audio right away, like got an audio file. And then this channel, it's going to be my bass channel. And then this is going to be main, so the main melodic element or whatever, and this is going to be top element. Save time here. And then I would save, again, I would save my piano melody, of course, because I might want to finish that track later. But for now, I need it for my live set. So freeze, flatten, and I got another audio file. I'm gonna do the same. The vocals, freeze, flatten, and then I would do the same. What is this gonna be? You'll understand. I'll do the same thing to this breakbeat. Freeze, flatten. So now I have my super individual great. Fuck, it's a bit well. And I'm gonna drag that over here. Is Ableton still up? Yeah. And you can see I have my disco loop in that one, and I have the breakbeat loop in that one because they have the same function. They're my loops, like, and you can see the kicks are kind of in the same row, and this could go on for like rows and rows and rows of shit, so that I can play them. You know, I can go from top to bottom, and then instead of the disco loop, I'll change it to that breakbeat loop, and then after that, I'll change it to another whatever house loop. So we had the break, we had the new kick. Oh, fuck. I got the breakbeat with the filter on there. That's not right. Freeze. Flatten. So. Yes, it's alright. Freezing is you keep the thing as it is, like as a MIDI kind of channel, but it's frozen in the way that you make it an audio file, but you can still undo that, like it's in a frozen state. I can show you. I'll show you in a second when I. Oh, I don't have the answer. Yeah. So what do we need for this? Another bass, another great bass is the Sub Boom Bass by Rob Papen. It's a sub boom bass. It does what it it's very boomy and very subby. Let's see here. I think this is like the stock. It's a sub bass, but it does a really well job of being that. So if you're into if you're into sub bass, you need this plugin. And I am, so let's see if we can play a little. You want to keep the sub bass simple, of course, and I want to quantize it because that was played really sloppy. Also on here I'm going to put again the pumper because pretty much, I don't know, I sidechain every bass to make it work because I have big kicks, so the bass kind of needs to move out of the way a little bit. So here the one knob pumper again. And now if I freeze this, to come back to the question, you can see it's just blue. And I can tweak anything because it saved the information as it was at the time of freezing, so that it doesn't draw as much CPU and stuff. It's kind of a, yeah. And now I can unfreeze it to have full control again, or I can flatten it to have an audio loop. That's what I want. Let's see if that bass even. Yep. Good enough for now. I probably wouldn't stick with this about more time, but I'm flattening it. I would have saved it before, of course, to have it for later use. And it's go into the bass compartment here, below the other bass that I created earlier. Let's go for a quick hi-hat. elements now for another chord trick that you can also, that everybody in this whole world can play great chords. With the Summer E-Piano preset by Room Service. What I did here, you can see it says Serum, which is some weird EDM synthesizer, but I have, that I'm not using, of course, but there's, here, is it this one? Yeah, it's a Unison MIDI chord pack by Completely Legal, and in here you can see all the files, or scales basically. It's like a D major, B minor. As I said, like I don't know shit about theory, so but these are scales, I know that. So this is the scale, and it gives me different folders with, as you can see, like it's all these chords, extended chords, they all fit the scale. So what I did was take all of these chords here that you see on the left, D sus, D major 7 sus 2, and D major at 9, and all the stuff I couldn't play if my life depended on it. Just drag these are MIDI files. I drag this chord here, and it plays that chord. And this is the cheat code, I guess you could say. So the way I would play this, up here you can select, doesn't matter. Now I can, if I go into session view, yes. Can we get the bird's eye camera? I don't know how it, yeah, from up top. This already sounds like a house classic. I don't know why. Like it's just the chords, you know, and it's like Carrie Chandler or something. But no. Oh yeah, the synth. Sorry about that. Somebody made these chords obviously with a serum and left the name there. But the synth is a Diva, which is the greatest soft synth there ever was, at least for me. Looks very confusing. The good thing here is I have about 100 bought so many packs of just like presets, a lot of shit in there, but it's like just a great sounding soft synth. So this does bass, keys, pads, steps, really everything. It's modeled after some classic, you know, like Juno, Roland shit, and it's all different kinds of filters, and yeah, you could probably make a whole tech talk just about this one synth because it's so great. Unfortunately, I don't have much time left, but this is the one, and you should definitely buy it. There's lots of treatment on there. I'm just going to show you another two of my favorite plugins that are on here. So untreated, this is the sound. It's also the synth that kind of sounds like some Carrie Chandler track or something. Then you have the Fab Filter. Everybody knows Fab Filter probably. They have like the Pro Q, which is the most well-known equalizer in the world. But they also have this Timeless, which is a really easy delay, yeah, for like dubby, housey kind of delays. I've got it on there twice. This one is really just that little thing at the end. Without, it's just bonk. And with the Timeless, you get the, and then another Timeless, just different settings. Yeah, I don't know what I did there. The synth enhancer from before, obviously, is in there, and just some filter plugins that are way too complicated to look at now. With a lot of nice presets, again, nice sounding results in a short time. I'm just going to try and play melody on top of that weird breakbeat combination thing that we have going. How much time have left, John? Alright, so we get the melody, and then I'll try to play that, combine those two tracks that we did, and then much boomy stuff and like breakbeats. It's not a great match, but I have to make do. Yeah, it's fucking me over now, as you can see. Would work great. Let's make it loop one. Make this. Yeah, I can show you. It's really nice, isn't it? I don't know. It's just analog e-piano up here. XS analog e-piano. If you want any of the stuff, or you didn't get anything quite right, you can also give you my mail afterwards or something. I'll send you, any presets or chord racks or chord packs you want. Yo. So I'm gonna freeze and flatten this, and then I'll try playing live our two little baby tracks, if it lets me, and it doesn't get stuck on freezing. Well. Oh, anyway, we'll just do it like this. Are we still on the Ableton view? Yes, I guess so. Yeah, perfect. So just real quick, the thing I wanted to show so much more how you guys could actually play live. We didn't even get to that, I'm sorry. But just the basic, the basic setup is you have your rows of shit, like you have your tracks. So you can see this row will be my track 1, and this row will be my track 2. And on my APC I have my, fuck off. Don't want to record. Yeah, let's do this. Oh, it doesn't want to record anymore. That's good. Yep, and this row 5 will be my track 2. Disabling everything. So let's get a real quick run through and without effects, because we didn't have time for that. So. Set the start time to like instant, so everything would trigger out of sync, but we have that figured out. Now. that didn't didn't really work out. We needed the effects, we needed the filters, and I took too much time, I think, to make it really blend. Um, anyways, I hope you get something out of it. Um, yeah, if you have, as I said, any questions, any of those things that I showed went too fast, I can give you my mail or whatever. You send me a message, and I'll, you know, send it over to you. If you don't have any more questions, I give over to you. Yeah, thank you guys.